The celestial gaze of Cosmoctopus falls upon you, as devotees to the Great Inky One harness the power of bizarre objects and experiences to better understand this mysterious galactic cephalopod. Exploit your hard-earned knowledge to gather tentacles, proving yourself to be the most dedicated follower by summoning Cosmoctopus from the Inky Realm. Hey everyone, this is tentacles, and today I'm bringing you my Kickstarter preview of Cosmoctopus. This is a game designed by Henry Audubon, the designer of the wonderful board game Parks for 1 to 4 players, and it plays in 60 to 90 minutes. During the game session, you will move Cosmoctopus through the Inky Realm, a configuration of such tiles, gathering resources and obtaining cards that represent relics, scripture, hallucinations, and constellations. The latter ones are crucial for winning the game. By collecting resources, playing these cards and combining their effects, you are aiming for becoming the first player to gain 8 tentacles and win the game. As usual, I will divide this preview into 2 main parts: the how to play section and my review. Feel free to use the timestamps to jump to the parts that interest you the most. Bonus points if you watch the entire video. Alright, before I show you how to play the game, let me explain the setup first. The setup is quite straightforward. First, randomly choose one of the 4 special Inky Realm tiles and add it to the 8 basic Inky Realm tiles. Shuffle these 9 tiles and arrange them in the center of the table. For your first game, use such a 3x3 grid. In later games, you can also use different layouts that pose a bigger challenge. Put the 3 unused special Inky Realm tiles back into the box. Then, place Cosmoctopus' head on the tile that shows this green star symbol here with a 3. Also place the tentacles, all 4 different kinds of resources, the 4 forbidden knowledge tiles, the multiplier tokens, as well as the first contact cards somewhere in reach of all players. Shuffle the devotee cards and place them face down to form a devotee deck. Then reveal 3 cards to create the card row. Then give each player a summoning tile and a reference card. Each player draws 5 cards from the devotee deck and takes 2 of each resource. Determine the starting player in any way you like. I personally prefer to do it like this. You and each player gets a duplicate of the same book. Then you all read it aloud at the same time. The person who finishes the book first wins. I suggest using the unabridged William Shakespeare collection. Other good options would be Gone with the Wind or all 7 books of the Harry Potter series. Give any remaining players the following generic discount tokens. The second player receives the 1 token, the third player the 2 token, and the fourth player the 3 token. These tokens may be discarded at any time to gain a one-off discount against a generic card cost. I will speak about that a little bit later. That's already the entire setup, and the playing area should now look like this in a 2-player game. If you're keen on setting the right mood for the game, you can read the lore sheet aloud for all players. This sheet also doubles as an icon guide if you turn it over. Now we're ready to play the game. Your turn is made up of 3 steps, which are all summarized on the devotee reference card. First, you move Cosmoctopus. Then you may play a card, which is optional, and then you'll discard everything down to 8. At the end of your turn, the greatest action of them all happens. You rotate Cosmoctopus to face the next player. I can't get enough of this one. It's really adorable. Alright, let's go over all of those actions in detail. You need to move Cosmoctopus during your turn. You do so by moving them to an adjacent tile in the Inky Realm, gaining the bonus shown on the tile that Cosmoctopus lands on. These are all quite simple. You can gain 3 ink, coin, whispers or stars. You gain 2 resources of the same type. You draw and keep the top devotee deck card and then gain a resource matching the card type. You take all cards of the same type from the card row. You discard the card row, then gain a resource matching each discarded card's type. Or you gain 1 ink, coin, whisper or star and then take a card from the card row. If ever a card is taken from the card row, the gap is refilled immediately with a card from the devotee deck. Now you can also move Cosmoctopus further than just 1 tile. To do so, you must pay them a tribute by spending a resource of any type for each additional tile moved. Cosmoctopus cannot return to the same tile they were on at the start of the Move Cosmoctopus action. And you only gain the bonus shown on the final tile that Cosmoctopus lands on, not the tiles on the way. Playing a card as the second action in your turn is completely optional. Keep in mind, that you can only play one card unless the effect of another card allows you to do so. Cards are played by spending the resources ink, whispers, coins and stars. Most cards have a specific cost and a generic cost that can be paid with any resources or the generic discount tokens. You must always pay the total cost indicated to play a card. For example, to play this card would cost a total of 6 resources, 3 coins plus 3 of any combination of additional resources. Should you ever run low on resources, you may discard a card to discount the cost of the card you wish to play by the resource of the discarded card. I will not go over each card, but let me give you a quick overview here. Scriptures and relics are permanent upgrades that either give you discounts for specific resources or give you a resource related boost, such as granting you more of a specific resource whenever you receive at least one of that resource. Hallucinations provide powerful one-time effects, resolving immediately when played. By the way, this lightning bolt here lets you play a second card immediately if you can pay for it. Constellations are the cards you'll want to work towards. When you complete them, they grant you a tentacle you need for winning and additional one-time effects. To complete a constellation, you must fill all 4 slots on the card with resources. Every time you gain a resource, you may either keep it or place it onto an open constellation slot with the matching icon. Filling must start with the top left slot, followed by slots connected by arrows. Once all 4 slots are filled, resolve the card effect, return the 4 resources to the bank and discard the card. At the end of your turn, you always discard down to 8. That applies to each type of resource and all of your cards in hand. Then don't forget about the gaze of Cosmoctopus. Rotate Cosmoctopus to face the next player. Whenever cute Cosmoctopus is looking at you, it's your chance to prove your devotion. There are 2 more small rules. At any time during your turn, you may exchange forbidden knowledge for 13 resources. That grants you 2 tentacles immediately. Also, when you gain your first tentacle in a game, you may take one of the first contact cards. These are completely free to play. And that's it. The player who first wins 8 tentacles wins the game. Place Cosmoctopus' head in the center of your summoning circle, completing your portal to the Inky Realm. Now you know how to play a competitive multiplayer game. But that's not all. The game can also be played solo and even cooperatively. Let me go over the solo mode first, since the cooperative game is quite similar. In a solo game you play against the private investigator. Let me refer to them as the PI. It makes talking about this a bit easier. To win you need to gain 8 tentacles before the PI does. And believe me, this is not an easy task. For the setup, you follow the rules for the core game. When you play solo though, you remove the first contact card as they are not needed then. Then shuffle the 8 PI behavior cards and place them face down to form the PI behavior deck. Choose one of the PI revelation cards and place it next to the PI progress tracker card so that the phrase "I can see the patterns" can be seen and both cards are forming a complete book. Remove the other revelation cards from the game. Place a tentacle on the 0 spot of the progress tracker card and then reveal the top card of the PI behavior deck. Check out the top left of that card and note the icon there. Take the 2 magnifying glass tokens and place one on each of the 2 Inky Realm tiles with an icon matching that exact icon. These 2 tiles are now being investigated by the PI. Choose one of the difficulties noted in the rulebook and on the PI reference cards and give the PI the corresponding starting resources, either 0, 2, 3 or 5. Well, you're now ready to play the solo game. The neat thing here is that there's almost no overhead at all. You always take the first turn and play normally, except for one small change. Whenever you stop on an Inky Realm tile that is being investigated by the PI, showing a magnifying glass, the PI gains a resource indicated on that tile from the bank. You can always move through such a tile for free though. On the PI's turn, the following happens in order. First, give the PI a resource matching the type of each individual card in the card row. Secondly, check if the PI has 13 or more of any single resource. If so, and the forbidden knowledge corresponding to that resource is still available, return 13 of these resources to the bank, advance the progress tracker tentacle by 2, remove the associated forbidden knowledge tile from the game, and resolve the effect on the PI behavior card. Thirdly, check if the PI has 8 or more of any single resource. If so, and the forbidden knowledge for that resource is no longer available, return 8 of these resources to the bank, advance the tentacle on the PI progress tracker by 1, and resolve the effect on the PI behavior card. In step 4, you check if the PI has gained any tentacles this turn. If that's the case, discard the active behavior card, reveal a new one, and move the 2 magnifying glass tokens to the new tiles being investigated. If the behavior deck is empty, shuffle the discarded behavior cards and form a new deck. If the PI did not gain any tentacles this turn, the current behavior card remains in play and nothing happens. Lastly, check whether the PI has 8 or more tentacles. If so, the PI wins. If not, the PI's turn ends and play moves on to the next human player. Important to note, the PI never gains first contact cards and never discards resources at the end of their turn. That's it. You play this mode exactly the same when playing cooperatively, although these rules are still being worked on. This might sound like a lot, but believe me when I say that this plays really smoothly and quickly. So, what do I think about Cosmoctopus? Oh boy, I immensely love this game. As usual, let's start with the game's appearance. This theme is not only unique but also utterly adorable, and the illustrations make this perfect. Cosmoctopus is so cute that it's impossible not to become a devotee. But the artwork is generally amazing. The tiles as well as the cards look great. Take a look at the cards specifically. They have really unique designs. Take a look at Melting Mind Jar, for example. The letters also melt away. Such a wonderful presentation. The components complement that presentation. Yes, this is a prototype, but I already know that the production copy will have wooden components, which is always a plus. The tiles have a good quality. If the cards were slightly upgraded, it would be even nicer. And I don't have to say anything about Cosmoctopus itself. It looks so cute and the final version will be professionally produced. Still, these handmade components are very well made and give this prototype a very unique charm. Regarding its mechanisms, this game is exceptionally well designed. Not only is the gameplay incredibly engaging and fun, there are also different ways to build up your engine and win the game. Which card do you rather go for? You could probably also do well without focusing on an engine and instead going for more movements, getting resources that way. This really mitigates the luck of the draw, since you are able to always go another route if cards come out you were not hoping for. There's another aspect that ties into this great game design. It is clearly possible to get 4 tentacles in one move. I have done so 3 times already. Although that provides you with a great advantage, it does not mean that you will win for sure, because players always have the possibility to catch up. As I said, there are multiple paths to victory, so this game is really well balanced and tightly designed. This especially holds true for the regular game. In the short game, it might be a bit harder to catch up with someone who just did a 4 tentacle move, since they only need 1 more to win the game. As you know, I am always happy about good solo modes, and the one for Cosmoctopus is amazing. The player's turn doesn't change, and the private investigator is so simple to manage. My first solo game, knowing the rules, took 35 minutes including setup and teardown. That is a pretty incredible time for such a tactically interesting game. The cooperative mode has the same rules and works well too. I would really like an additional rule or 2 that put the cooperative aspect more front and center. But I appreciate that this is currently being worked on. I actually came up with an idea myself here. The game offers a lot of variety. You can alter the game length if you want a quicker game. You can draft starting hands to make the starting hands more exciting. And you can even alter the Inky Realm's layout from easy to medium and even hard. This is the layout Infinite. This is X marks the spot. And this is Pentaglyph. And there's even more than that. The rulebook even suggests coming up with your own layouts and sharing them online. This is amazing. I can't wait to see more layouts and try them all. Maybe I will even play yours. The game was even made for people with impaired vision, such as colorblind players. Each different card type not only is a distinct color, but also a specific shape, as you can see here. This is an incredible attention to detail which I'm sure many players will appreciate a lot. This probably is a first. But as it stands, there is no constructive feedback from my side. Cosmoctopus is an incredibly well designed game with a great theme, great artwork, nice components, multiple modes of play that all work very well, and different paths to victory. The game is quite simple to teach, but has a lot of depth, without causing analysis paralysis or being too complex for more casual players. Yes, raising the player count to 5 or 6 would be amazing. But this game is great, and I immediately backed it when it went live. I did not manage to be the first backer, but I'm backer 11 at least. That's not too bad, And this campaign is really taking off, and a lot of really amazing stretch goals are being reached, including an additional mode of play even. I can't wait for the production copy. I'm sure it will rank very high on my list of my most favorite games of all time. Be sure to check out the link to the Kickstarter page in the description of this video in case you liked what you saw here. Alright, you made it to the very end of my review. Thank you very much for watching in case you're still doing so. I highly appreciate it. If you did like this video, why don't you let me and the algorithm know by liking and commenting. Also, I'd highly appreciate it if you subscribed in case you'd like to stay up to date regarding my content. This really helps my channel grow. And if you'd like to hang out with me and my community, why don't you head over to my Discord server. I'd love to welcome you over there. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the very next video or on the Discord server. Take care everyone, stay safe, and cheers.